New Canaan, Darien, the historic rivalry here in the FCAC and in the entire state. New Canaan, Darien, the Blue Wave, the Rams meeting off here at Dunning Field for some field hockey action. The Darien Blue Wave 13-1 coming in, trying to pick up a win on their second to final game of the season, trying to take the final game from the New Canaan Rams. Myself, John Frieders, joined alongside Owen Heffron, here to be with you in the booth the entire day. And what a game it's going to be today, Owen. You know, you've called a couple Blue Wave field hockey games so far this season. The Blue Wave have been rolling. They're 13-1. Look to win this game, right? And although they're 13-1 and you're saying the season's coming to an end, right? These games matter for positioning. They're right now sitting at 3 in the FCX standings. A win here, a win in their final game against Trumbull can vault them up to 1-2. Those positions matter, right?
I mean, absolutely. And one in that FCAC is Staples, their only loss, the former state champions of Class L who beat Darien in that game. And then Ludlow, a team that Darien actually beat. They just have one more point than Darien. And Darien is, like you said, an absolute powerhouse. And New Canaan's right on that edge. They can easily sneak into those FCAC playoffs, sitting at, I believe, number 9 right now, and the top 8 qualify for that spot. Darien going to have to use those players. Kate Bach is going to be a big one. The Boston College field hockey commit has tons of goals on the year, as well as Kate Bogdan, the star defenseman, and another captain who's going to look to drive the ball down the field and get the offense started.
Yeah, and if you're New Canaan, right, what's your method to stopping this red-hot Blue Wave offense? Obviously, Blue Wave offense has just been dominant, and then their defense has been just as good. They've got multiple shutouts this season. Goalie plays fantastic. What do you do if you're New Canaan to stop this Blue Wave offense?
Well, something I thought that Staples did very well is they spaced out a lot, which helped their offense get going, and they put a lot of pressure on Kate Bogdan, pushing that offense up, kind of squeezing her and not letting her able to get those drives off, which is a big part, and especially with Kate Bach there, kind of just crowding the circle, not letting her get space, doubling her if they have to, and making sure the defense is spaced out as well as the offense.
Yeah, and on New Canaan's side, right, we're going to have to look at a couple key players, one of them being Olivia Barbero, the goalie for the Rams. She's just a freshman coming in with a big matchup here, big primetime matchup against the Blue Wave. What does she have to do to be successful? Obviously, momentum is going to have to be built, confidence early on. The first couple saves are going to be big to build up that confidence and get her presence in net kind of flowing. But then also that defense, they lost a lot of defenders last season. I know it's the last game of the year, but the defense has struggled a little bit at times. How does she kind of position herself so that she's in a good spot tonight?
Well, she is a freshman, and she has to trust the defense, number one. You know, they have kind of that veteran presence that she should be able to trust, not be afraid, get in front of the ball, no matter how hard those Darien attackers are hitting it. But also, even though she's just a freshman, she also has to take some sort of initiative as well, kind of positioning her defense, knowing where to go, knowing how to cut off the angles and the shots. And she's getting the start today. I mean, Ben Cunningham has faith in her, so I believe she can get the job done.
Yeah, and right, New Canaan, this game matters. We talked a little bit about the playoff positioning, but one of the key factors, right, is the next game the Blue Wave will play, the final game of the regular season, is against Trumbull, who right now is sitting at 8. And if Trumbull loses to Darien, New Canaan comes out victorious today, you look at New Canaan maybe sliding in at that 8 spot, that 7 spot, getting up there, having just an opportunity to be in the FCAC tournament, and obviously in states, which last year, right, they started off 0-5 in the season, then went on a tear, found themselves in the state championship, both these teams in the state championships. So, you know, obviously just getting into the playoffs is a chance. You just need that chance, and then once you're in, and then you have an opportunity to kind of make your mark. But we'll be here. We'll see you back in a couple minutes after the national anthem. Starters were just announced. We'll see you in a minute. We're back here on NCTV 78. Thank you for joining us here, a joint production with DAF Media. So, Owen, thank you for coming along. New Canaan hosting the Darien Blue Wave. We talked a little bit about this matchup, but whenever New Canaan and Darien face off, there's a little bit of added physicality. Owen, talk to me about that.
Yeah, and on paper, it may look like Darien is the better team with the better record, but really with any sport you see between the Rams and the Wave, it gets physical. And kind of, like I said, the on-paper skill goes out the window. And these two teams are definitely going to bring out the best in each other today. Last three matchups, Darien got the better of the Rams in their last matchup last year. 3-1 was the final with a Darien victory. But, John, like you said, this matchup should be a go-in today. And New Canaan hopefully looking to get that victory and slide into those FCAC playoffs.
Yeah, and we talk about that extra physicality. The refs let them play, too. There are a bunch of calls that fans sometimes get a little bit frustrated at, but that just comes with the rivalry, a historic rivalry between these two Fairfield County schools, New Canaan, Darien. Always exciting to be in the booth. Myself, John Frieders, joined alongside Owen Heffron here on NCTV 78, as well as DAF Media Network. Just about to drop the ball here in a minute, but any final thoughts before we get started here, Owen?
I just think it's a beautiful day for some field hockey and two great Fairfield County teams. Tess Hagany will be the starting goalie for the Blue Wave. She's actually been the backup for most of this season, but her fellow junior and Ella Cherenek last week battling some illness and ended up missing some practices. So Tess Hagany gonna get the nod today in net, and I think it's gonna be very interesting. A little bit undersized, smaller than Ella Cherenek. I think it's gonna be very big for New Canaan to capitalize and seize that opportunity.
Ball's going to be dropped here. Perfect. About 75-degree day here. Perfect for some field hockey. Really perfect for any sport. 75 and sunny in fall in Connecticut. Does it get better than that? Kate Bogdan throwing it in. And we're off here and running. First quarter will be 15 minutes. As well as the other three. Here's New Canaan moving the ball around. Almost an early turnover. Dangerous there. Canaan's going to have to clear it out. And they do.
Darien was putting pressure from their offense right on that New Canaan defense in their own end early, looking for that scoring opportunity. That's something that we talked about in the intro that New Canaan has to do on Kate Bogdan and the Darien defenders.
That was Kenny moving the ball into the offensive zone. Ball stolen away by Bach. And pushed out of bounds. Blue Wave will gain possession here. Moving, obviously, the Blue Wave in the black jerseys, moving left to right on your screen. The Rams in the white, moving right to left. As that one goes out of bounds. New Canaan possession.
We saw Shannon Bach on that takeaway there. She, only a sophomore, is going to be a staple on this team for the next couple seasons. Of course, her sister Kate, the captain and the standout star right now.
And Serena O'Connor now getting her first touch on the day, the star player for the New Canaan Rams. Ball taken away from the Rams in possession of the Blue Wave. There's the drive, Liddell. Liddell pushes it inside. Dangerous zone there. And that is goal 1 on the day. Not entirely sure who tapped that one in. I believe that was Kate Bach adding to her goal total on the season. We'll get a replay here in just a short minute, but that's what happens when you put the ball in front of the net.
Yeah, it's less than 2 minutes into the game. Looked like Kate Bach and Adriana Gramelski were both in the area, but great job from Liddell getting it right into the circle.
Dangerous spot there, right? If you're the Blue Wave, that's where you want to get the ball, right in front of the freshman, Olivia Barbero. It's Blue Wave now driving down the field. It's Bach, guarded by 2 white jerseys. Ball's moved in. That's Gramelski, this 3-sport varsity athlete, Gramelski. You know, one of the more athletic players on this Blue Wave team. Lots of commits here, not for field hockey, couple field hockey commits. You got 4 or 5, but you also got a bunch of lacrosse commits that play field hockey in the fall. The ball moved around. Ball pushed out by Moore. It'll be Fagan.
Emily Fagan, another strong defender on this team, has some powerful drives as this one's now taken away.
That ball stolen by Moore. Moore doing a great job there, right? Playing some defense on Fagan with the turnover, forcing the turnover. Ball goes back. Here's O'Connor gonna hold it.
Good job from O'Connor there.
O'Connor moving the ball up to Passios. And back over to Moore. Blue Wave gonna try to clear it. But that ball stolen by Herring. Here's Civarelli. Civarelli gonna fire it towards the net in the direction. And clear all the way down.
That's a good drive from Bogdan. That's what we talked about. New Canaan having to take those away, but off the stick of Gramelski, and they're able to get that interception.
Ball in the hands of a Ram. That was number 25, Annalise Herring. Once again, here's Herring. Dribbles it in. Herring dribble right in front of Haggany. Haggany with the poke away there.
Yeah, good save. Right at her feet. Nice and easy, just getting it out of the zone, getting in the hands of her defense.
Ball controlled now by Lee. Moved up to Kenny. And the drive again by the Blue Wave. There's Gramelski. Playing some pretty solid defense. Ball back over. Here's Liddell. Talk about the Liddell twins, right? The Liddell sisters causing chaos on any team that comes up against the Blue Wave.
And Brooke and Kylie, both of them are Wake Forest commits for field hockey, committed last season. Were also just as strong and plays just as much as a role as they do now last year. We saw, I believe that was Brooke that got the assist on that first goal.
Talk about the Blue Wave, right? One thing that does play to their advantage is that experience that they have. They have a lot of players that are returning after playing in that state championship against Staples last year. They have high aspirations trying to make it to the FCAC championship and the state championship and put themselves in position to maybe even win one of those two.
Yeah, well, Darien ended up beating Staples in that FCAC championship last year, and then Staples got their revenge in the States. Here's Dewart.
There's Dewart, feeds it up towards the middle. The shot on net. That's redirected by Gromelski. What a redirect there from Gromelski, just tapping it in past Barbero. Not Barbero's fault, though, obviously. Nothing you can do when the tap's right in front of you.
That's picture perfect right there, kind of going from Dewart to Bach, Bach right to Gromelski. Gromelski nice and easy. All she has to do is lay out the stick, and it rolls right on in past Olivia Barbera. Just ping-ponging off the player, spreading the ball around, and just kind of a broken play for New Canaan defense as Dewart was wide open.
Yeah, and oftentimes, right, we mentioned Bach's scoring ability, but you saw the defense kind of pull up there once she touched the ball, and that opens up opportunities for her teammates, and she's so good at finding her teammates that she doesn't just score, but she also passes the ball. Here's McDonough now with the shot. That one goes off the foot of Liddell.
Yeah, we'll have a penalty corner there, perhaps for some shooting space and maybe a foot, and this will be a good first opportunity here for the Rams.
Rams, right, you don't want to find yourself in a big deficit here, especially early on. You're just over 6 minutes into this game. You're already down by 2. You got to get a goal here soon, right, Owen? Get some scoring opportunities, get some life.
And this is such a good Darien defense. They've had over half a dozen shutouts. Momentum is always massive.
Pass over there, the shot by Passios. Redirected, goes a little bit wide. Can't find anything there, but even right with that opportunity, you just want to get a shot on net. Make Hagany make a save, right? She's the backup goalie. She's obviously starting today, earned her spot. But you want to make her save, make a couple saves, get her a little bit uncomfortable. Here's Bach now with Gromelski up. Gromelski just not able to reach that one.
Yeah, she was definitely open there. Bach kind of hit her on the outside shoulder, had to kind of spin around, couldn't get there before it rolled out of the end line. On that penalty corner, it kind of looked like, I believe it was McDonough who took the shot, or Passios, one of the two, just got on top of the ball in a weak little dribbler, and it's easy to get clogged up in the traffic on those penalty corners, everyone rushing in at the same time, and just went wide. But like you said, putting that pressure on Tess Hagany, who hasn't gotten the same amount of playing time that someone like El Charanek has this year, is going to be massive.
Scrum over there on the side. That's Liddell and Lee dueling it out. Ball now in the hands of the Rams. Here's Civarelli carrying it up past midfield. Civarelli drives in, takes a shot. Was looking for more there. More was coming up on that left side. Just couldn't get a stick on that one. Another failed opportunity for the Rams.
That was a close play, though, and that's showing signs of progress in this first quarter, or excuse me, in this first half. And
it's the drive up, stolen by O'Connor, then fed over to Passios. Passios guarded by Bach. Passios over to Kenny. Kenny has that one pickpocketed from her, then ball tries to get up to Bach, just can't get up. Now Bach takes it, the drive right up to Duarte. Duarte is looking to get the ball to Liddell, the Wake Forest commit. Ball stays in the hands of the Blue Wave. Here's the Blue Wave driving down the left side. It's Bach, ball stolen, poked away by the Rams. Ball could not be cleared. Ball touched.
I like what Darien is. Yeah, I like what Darien's doing, getting it back to their captain Fagan, trying to reset, get some plays drawn up. That one kind of turns to nothing, though.
Yeah, you see, right, if you're the Blue Wave, right, you don't really have to rush here. You can kind of just take your time, look for the opportunities. Obviously, probably coming into this game, you're favored to win, so you want to use that to your advantage, kind of move the ball, look for those good opportunities, and not just take those shots to take shots.
Yeah, and Darien is got a game tomorrow, too, against Trumbull. I believe it's their first time they've played on back-to-back days all year long. We talk about the physicality.
I have to correct you there, Heffron. They did have a 3-game streak where they played on September 21st, 22nd, and 23rd.
That's
they
right,
played
when
2 weekend games out of league, so they played 3 straight days. That's got to be rough. 2 long commutes that Saturday, that Sunday. Then you come back playing FCAC game on Monday.
Yeah, and they got some good wins against those out-of-state, some national powerhouses in Kingsway Regional in Hershey.
Yeah, 2 big wins. That one tried to be put on net, but unfortunately goes to the left. Ball goes back to the Rams, but Darien's definitely been tested this year, battle tested. You know, they mentioned they played those 2 really nationally ranked out-of-state teams. They played Staples and FCAC, known for being one of the best conferences in the state. It probably is in most sports, especially in field hockey. You have 5 of the top 10 teams in the FCAC. The only team that's really notable out there that's not in the top 10 but is right on the brink are the Rams. You got Wilton, you got Greenwich, Staples, Darien, you know, all those teams really causing chaos. You got Wilton too as well.
Yeah, and Ludlow, who is
and
sitting
Ludlow, my apologies.
No, Ludlow sitting at second has really kind of been a pleasant surprise for a lot of teams kind of facing them in the FCAC. Darien had a close game against them, just 2-0. And then Greenwich, who Ludlow also beat, not many people were expecting that one to come about.
So FCAC, one of the better conferences in the state. Every game's close. This one, here's Darien. There's Bach feeding it over to her teammate. Good defense in front by the Rams. Balls pinballing off the sticks. Looks like Barbera tried to make a kick save there. Ball goes out of bounds. Rams skate that dangerous opportunity for the Blue Wave.
Yeah, Dewart was sitting right outside there as Bach was going in, and eventually the ball found her way to Anna Dewart. She was looking for the opportunity, strong defense from the Rams. I would have liked to see Olivia Barbera kind of get in there a little bit sooner, kick that ball out, just kind of nix any opportunity the Blue Wave could see on that attempt.
That ball pickpocketed by Liddell off the stick of O'Connor. Now ball over to Duarte. Duarte in front. You know, she had the assist first. That one makes its way through the 5-hole. And we'll see. That one might be taken back.
Yeah, that goal isn't going to count, but I mean, what a shot. Barbera just couldn't get her legs closed in time.
A rocket from that right side by Duarte. She had the assist earlier on, the first goal of the game, right? She fed it right in front. She tried to go for the goal there.
Yeah, it's lucky Barbera didn't touch that. I believe if that hit off of Barbera, that goal would have counted as someone would have touched it inside the circle. So lucky it just went right through the legs of the freshman goaltender.
There's Civarelli trying to feed it up to Lee, just out of reach. Ball back in the hands of the Blue Wave. Canaan pressuring, trying to force a turnover. They do just that. That ball careens off the stick of Fagan. Now back in the hands of the Rams. It's O'Connor here weaving through a defender, trying to go 5-hole. Great defense, though, by Liddell.
It's just such a strong drive by Bogdan. Goes right off the stick of, I believe, Ella Healy, and now right to Bach.
Here's Bach taking it herself. Bach trying to get it over to Gromelski. Gromelski shoots. And that was Bach.
I think it might have been...
Right, or Gromelski?
I think Gromelski on the reverse got it in. She was
Gromelski with the
wide,
shot.
yeah, wide open on that play. Barbera came out to try to stop it. It bounced off Gromelski's stick, and Barbera kind of had to frantically run back into the net.
Yeah, we'll get the replay here, but what a nice play in transition for the Blue Wave. Here's Gromelski right on the backhand, puts it right in.
Yo, this thing keeps falling off my camera. Catherine, this thing on the top of my camera keeps
Gromelski, only a sophomore,
Yo, chill.
has 2 goals on the game. The first one might have been hers as well. We could never quite get that replay, but I know she and Kate Bach were both in the area. New Canaan maybe looking for a chance now.
New Canaan, you got to think, right, they need some offensive kind of spark, whether it's at the end of this first quarter or to open up that second quarter. The Blue Wave just operating, firing on all cylinders in transition. The drives just lethal as the Blue Wave come back here on another drive. Shot there. What a kick save by Barbero. Another opportunity. Clock runs out. That's the end of the first quarter. Blue Wave pick up 3, find themselves up 3-0. What'd you like there, Owen? Obviously, the drives were super strong from the Blue Wave. The Rams need to figure out a way to stop Bach, stop Bogdan, stop Gromelski. Got to figure out a kind of cure to this, but if you're the Blue Wave, what are you saying going into this kind of 2-minute break?
If you're the Blue Wave, you are insanely happy right now. The amount of players that are open right in front of the net with Deward and Gromelski and Bach all down there feeding off the drives from Bogdan and Fagan. The Rams have to do something, get their defenders right in front, cutting that off. And what I liked at the very end was that save by Olivia Barbera. I think it showed kind of her confidence that she needs to execute throughout the rest of this game in these 3 quarters.
Yeah, you see here the Blue Wave offense driving in. The shot out wide by Bach and the kick save by Barbero. Great job on replay, but you saw there, that's the confidence that you need from Barbero, that you're going to need to get back into this game. You can't pick up goals in chunks against a team as good as the Blue Wave, but you got to start picking them up one by one, right? Get some offense going, net one, and then start with netting one and build confidence off of that.
Yeah, it's all about staying cool, calm, and collected in net when you have the Bachs and Liddells and the Gromelskis and just firing that ball at you it seems about every other minute so far in this first quarter. And that's something that the Rams are going to have to get. They're going to have to put the pressure on and make sure that their defenders are all matched up with the Darien forwards.
Yeah, not a lot of time to breathe, right? If you're Barbero, just being pestered by shots consistently. The Blue Wave doing a great job of that. But on the other side, right, the Rams, they got to get something going offensively. I know I haven't seen much field hockey, but from your experience, right, what do the Rams need to do here to get some more shots on net, get some more scoring opportunities, and get kind of that spark back?
It's kind of like the old saying, offense is the best defense, and that's what kind of Darien is doing. They're controlling the ball a lot right now. I think, we talk about physicality a lot. The Rams get right in the face of Darien, get the ball as much as possible, but also take their time, don't be intimidated, don't be frantic. Just control the ball, find the open player, and slowly but surely push up the field. And again, as utilizing the fact that Tess Hagany is in net instead of Ella Cherenek, and just making sure that you get those shots and those shots and those shots and stack the circle. Those redirects are going to be massive, especially for Hagany, who hasn't seen a lot of those this season. If they can redirect a powerful shot off some of the shots of the Ram forwards, then they should be able to capitalize on 1 or 2 possessions.
Yeah, right. Part of what's been missing from that Rams offense is that chaos in front of the net. Get some bodies in front of the net, some sticks moving, get people, commotion, get Hagany in uncomfortable situations by being right up in her face, which is what the Rams need to do. We'll see here the start of the second quarter here on NCTV 78 and DAF Media Networks. Obviously a joint broadcast. We love to come together. Both these broadcasting programs love to come together for any Blue Wave New Canaan matchup. This one delivering so far, just like every matchup does. Obviously, the Blue Wave have had the Rams' number the past 5 matchups, but it's been close. The spread is 3-2 in favor of the Blue Wave. Here's New Canaan now with their first offensive opportunity of this second quarter. It'll be Civarelli taking it out, then gonna fire it in. And ball goes the other way. Here's the Blue Wave. That's Bogdan now moving it over to her teammate Liddell. Liddell trying to work through a couple of Rams defenders now, giving some breathing space up along the sideline. The drive by the Blue Wave. Here's Bach. goes out of bounds, back to Bach. Here's Bach taking it by herself. Bach guarded by McDonough. Bach feeding it inside. Over to her teammate. And the Rams on the other side. But if you're the Rams, right, you got to get up and down the field a little bit quicker. Blue Wave just a little bit faster. Those few seconds make that big difference. You got Grumelski moving, running fast, quickly down the side, moving. And on the drives, right, it leaves her open, then forces 3-on-2 situations. You can't find yourselves but if in those situations because it makes them uncomfortable.
Yeah, I think urgency is a big word in terms of field hockey, and so far the Blue Wave have just looked a lot more urgent than the Rams in this first quarter and a little bit of the second quarter. As we saw, you know, those long drives and the Blue Wave forwards running down that field, Grumelski getting to those balls. This one, not the strongest drive, maybe a chance for the Rams to capitalize.
Be Charlotte Lee holding possession for the Rams, but again, right, just getting down the field a couple seconds quicker, opening up some more opportunities, and then time of possession. You mentioned it earlier, kind of that emphasis on time of possession and holding it, and then moving the ball around. You can't be on defense the entire game if you're looking to score a couple goals. Is the Blue Wave back on the drive, the strong drive. That was Ogle down there. Ball off the foot of Healy. Franklin and Marshall commit. One of the few commits on this Rams team.
Yeah, because of that foot in the circle, it'll be a penalty corner for the Blue Wave. A lot of times you'll see Shannon Bach take these on the insert. This time it'll be Liddell.
Yeah, and if you're the Rams here, right, how do you defend something like this? You see just a sea of Blue Wave defenders there. You got Liddell, who's going to push it up in front. How do you defend something like this, Heffron?
You gotta get right at Bach. That one kind of looked like a broken play.
Yeah, it looked like a little bit of a miscommunication there on who was going to touch the ball. Now ball goes the other way.
That was perfect right there from the Rams. They did exactly what they needed to do there. Again, even though it was a little bit of miscommunication on the part of Darien, they covered who got the ball immediately. Now look, the Rams go.
That was more. Ball taken away now. The Blue Wave back on another drive. Here is Bach weaving her way in. Goes from her right to her left. Bach, now the backhand shot. Goes a little bit wide, but you just see in that shot from Bach, she can pull up from 15 yards and has a chance to net it anytime she takes a shot. The backhand shot there.
Bach did a great move getting to her left side, and the reverse chip up high into the air. So hard to get up and defend a high shot and all that goalie gear, but Kate Bach, something she does so well, of course, on that list of the Class 2025 top 100 players to watch.
It's also hard to get that ball up in the air to start with, so Bach, lots of talent. She's played regionally. Obviously, as you just mentioned, right, top 100, making some noise. Boston College commit. It's McDonough dribbling it along the sideline. Savino gonna push that one out. McDonough ball being poked at by Savino. Savino finally gets it. And again, poked out of bounds.
Well, in Darien New Canaan's last 8 matchups, Darien never scored more than 3 goals, and they already have 3 goals in just the first quarter alone. It looks like some good adjustments made in the second quarter so far from New Canaan.
Definitely some defensive adjustments were made in between the first and second quarter, kind of slowing down this pace of play. That's how New Canaan's going to get back into this game. Once Darien speeds up that pace of play, it's hard for New Canaan to get back on defense, and therefore it leaves open forwards for the Blue Wave. Ball kicked up. Here's Bach has Ogle up front. Bach gonna take it herself. Bach to Ogle. The diving save there. What a save from Barbero. Barbero sliding out just laying out, putting her body on the line, and makes the save. We'll have the replay here.
That's exactly what I was talking about with Barbera. Not being afraid, not sitting back, getting out there, tripping one of her own players, but breaking up that pass attempt. Bach maybe a little too late getting it to the sophomore Athena Ogle. But what a diving stop. Getting the stick out there and completely disrupting what was very likely Darien's 4th goal of the day.
And smart decision right from Barbero, right? Once you take those few steps out, you take away that angle, and then you also take away the option to pass. Obviously, Bach was trying to pass by coming out that extra 5 yards. You stop that, and then you make a ridiculous save like that. Failed drive attempt up. Back to Ogle, now ball in possession of the Rams.
Yeah, it's a 3-0 game, but both goalies have looked very good. Tess Hagany, you know, not in her usual spot, but doesn't really matter. She's looked great on the Darien side. And then, 3 goals, not a lot of them have been Barbera's fault. I mean, kind of broken plays, just open forwards.
Civarelli in. That was Lee not on the same page. Civarelli trying to look towards the middle. Bad kind of open field turnover. Now ball back in possession of the Blue Wave. Here is Bach coming up along that left sideline. Bach guarded by a couple of Rams. There's Bach trying to feed it inside, and another save. What a save, but the second opportunity is nailed by Gromelski. Gromelski with the hat trick.
Gromelski is
3
having
goals.
having herself a day. The sophomore, just the second effort. Barbera, great job getting out, blocking the initial attempt, and just kind of tried to smother it. Taking another look on the replay, here's Bach doing a great job getting to the outside, right along the goal line. And just Barbera maybe not enough. Great job from Gromelski too, taking the ball back on her stick away from Barbera, and then having a nice and easy flick into the back of the net.
Great play by Gromelski, already a hat trick, just a quarter and a half into this game ball. They're stolen by the Blue Wave.
Should I get it?
A ball moved up, back in possession of the Rams, but battled by Liddell. There's Liddell passing it to Liddell, her sister. Liddell to Liddell. Connection going strong. Then it's Ogle touching. There's Ogle inside. Good redirection in front by Johnson, just a little bit far right. And Barbero there, kind of again taking away the angle, but great idea, just couldn't find success.
Yeah, Sydney Johnson, another Darien Blue Wave player that doesn't see just as much time as a lot of the other ones, but that was a good redirect, just a little wide. It's exactly what you got to do, confuse the goaltender, especially newer goaltender, the freshman in Barbera, kind of getting her off balance, having to readjust from her original position.
Yo, check
Such
my
a
shot
vital
out, check my
aspect in
shot
field
out.
hockey.
New Canaan trying to set up the drive. And ball's taken away. That ball taken away by Passios.
Oh.
Back to the Blue Wave.
Oh my God.
But there's Lee. Lee
Bro, if you heard
getting
that,
a
I
bit
would've
aggressive.
seen
Lee
that.
up to Passios. Passios couldn't control it. Then the swing
Someone's knees just
and the miss
swung at
by Kellogg. Rams with an opportunity, looking to net their first goal of the game. And I think once the Rams get that first goal right, it'll kind of ease things up a little bit, kind of inspire some confidence. And if you're the Blue Wave, you're just going to keep on dominating the way this game's been going. Blue Wave really getting anything they want, whenever they want.
Well, I saw in that offensive possession that New Canaan still had a lot of midfielders and defenders back on that, and I think they kind of have to put that pressure on the Darien Blue Wave defense, a defense that's so good. If you're outnumbered by them, there's a very low chance that you'll be able to capitalize on those possessions. So I know it's scary with how good the Darien offense has been so far, putting those midfielders up, but I think it's something that Megan Cunningham has to think about with her squad if they want to try to come back in this one.
Yeah, and how do you, that's a big question, right? How do you find that right balance of trying to hold it back, have defenders back, but then also having enough forwards, midfielders up to really make a difference and give yourself an opportunity to score against the Blue Wave defense, which you just mentioned is dominant with Bogdan in the center.
Yeah, and that's a very hard thing to do and to figure out when you're playing team as strong as the Blue Wave, a team that is, nationally recognized in this sport. But Cunningham, I trust her. I think the whole team trusts her to figure out a way. They'll be able to do that and get past the Blue Wave defense, which we know, both of us, John, that is so strong.
Right there, the shot by Liddell.
Great save there from Barbera, just getting in front, redirecting it.
Ball back, and now possession of the Rams. But even you see it right here, right? Look at how many white jerseys are kind of on their own 30, behind their own 30-yard line. It's a lot. They've only got 2 girls up front now. Obviously, those attackers coming in to play defense, but you really got to get some white jerseys out there. Otherwise, you give Darien that opportunity to stop the ball at the 30-yard line, set up their offense once again, and just kind of keep on repeating those offensive possessions, right?
That's exactly right.
There's the pass inside. Could not find a stick. Ball now controlled by Eska Hadillo. And the shot wide to the left.
Yeah, I think Lulia Escajadillo was looking for someone, maybe a teammate just in the circle, couldn't find anyone. That one goes out back of the end line.
Ball back in possession of the Rams. That was off a Winery stick. See the stop up there, stopping the ball. That's Passios, but then stolen back by the Blue Wave. And the drive attempt fails. Ball careens out to the left. And again, right, most of this second quarter, we talk about the Rams offense needing to find a spark. Most of this second quarter has been the Rams on defense, just trying to hold the Blue Wave. Really haven't seen many offensive opportunities. Got to get something going quickly, otherwise this match will just kind of turn into a stalemate.
Yeah, and before that, I was going to say it's been a while since the Rams got past the 50, and just then they only got past it by about 1 or 2 yards. So great job of the Wave controlling that spot on the field.
That ball, good defense by Herring on Escadillo. Now the Rams trying to get it past that 50, but again, right, that Blue Wave defense confronting him right there. See if the Rams can get something going. As the ball's turned over, here's Waddell. Waddell weaving through a bunch of New Canaan defenders now. The Blue Wave on a fast break, 3-on-1. Here's Bach. Bach the pass and the shot and scores, takes it herself to fake. There, what a play from Bach.
Yeah, that whole drive, that whole possession was great from the Blue Wave. From Kylie Liddell weaving her way through to the pass up to Johnson and then finding Bach. And Bach just getting around as Barbera came out, tried to cut off the angle, stick handling right past the freshman, kind of showing off her experience. The senior getting in, burying one. 5-0.
You see there, though, right, Barbera's in a tough situation. She's got to make that decision whether to come out on Bach, try to take away that angle, or hold back and then risk that pass there. She decides to come out 3-on-1, really tough situation for Barbero. So nothing she can do there, but that just shows the potency of the Blue Wave offense. Bach looked like she's going to pass it, and instead she took it herself. Then the shot by the Blue Wave.
That just snuck right past.
That was Ava Welch scoring that one.
Yeah, and that one was just nice and easy. Kind of pass around, finally the open person. It looked like they had a lot of forwards open. Darien kind of running away with this one. Just kind of keep pushing, just keep poking at it. Barbera just kind of watched that one go by. But on that last one, on that Cape Bog goal, I was going to say that I believe Barbera did make the right decision. It's just, Cape Bog, senior versus the freshman, a little bit outmatched. And Cape Bog was just able to get around her. It's no fault, like you said, to Olivia Barbera.
Here is Civarelli. Now ball back towards the middle, back towards the possession of the Blue Wave. The Blue Wave get it over the 50. The ball stolen there from by the Rams. Here, a couple white jerseys over to O'Connor. O'Connor with Rayer on that left side. There's Rayer trying to get past her defender, but great defense by Fagan, Molly Fagan. Again there. There is the timeout. My apologies, that's the end of the first half. That last couple minutes went by quickly, kind of going back and forth, mostly Blue Wave though. Blue Wave dominating this game so far. You see that second quarter controlled by the Blue Wave. Spent probably 90% of their time in the offensive zone past that 50. And if you're the Rams, how do you get back into this game? And then also, we'll probably see a goalie change, right? Barbero probably coming out for Descenza. Or if you're Cunningham, right, do you keep in Barbero? Efron, give me some of your thoughts here.
I honestly think that Barbero's done nothing wrong this game. Viewing that, it just is very deflating. Really the only chance that New Canaan had on offense that at that point was right at the very end of the quarter where they couldn't really slow things down and find the open players. But Olivia Barbero's playing a great game. I think she's done a good job with her decision making, cutting off the angles. It's just that, you know, there's a lot of open forwards on the Blue Wave side that the defense just can't get in front of, and it's hard, especially for a freshman goaltender who maybe feels a little bit intimidated by some upperclassmen on the defensive side, maybe too scared to kind of tell them how to adjust or something like that, especially you have the best angle standing there and that you can see the entire defense and the entire offense.
Yeah, well, that will do it here for the first half at Dunning Field. The Blue Wave up 6-2, controlling that first half. We'll be back in just a few minutes after sponsors. Myself, John Frieders, Owen Heffron. We'll see you in just a few minutes.
This game is sponsored by our NC Rams All Sports Booster Club Platinum and Gold sponsors. We would like to thank our Platinum sponsor, Anderson Kenny Architecture, a full-service practice that encompasses a range of commission, residential, and commercial projects. Each project is a thoughtful collaboration tailored for clients and their needs. The outcome is highly personal, constructed with intention and integrity. We would like to thank our Platinum sponsor, Dr. William Fessler of Fessler Family Dentistry, the dental office for your entire family's dental needs. At William Fessler Family Dentistry, smile, you're in good hands. Platinum sponsor Frangio Engineering. Planning on putting a pool or addition onto your house? Are you having drainage issues on your property? Frangio Engineering can help you find a solution. Platinum sponsors and NCHS alumni Leo and Steve Carl of Carl Chevrolet have been proud supporters of local athletic programs for generations. Their dealership has been serving Fairfield County since 1927. Their team is ready to assist you with all of your automotive needs. Platinum sponsor Manfredi Jewels. Manfredi Jewels, your local official Rolex jeweler, is excited to continue carrying the finest jewelry and watch brands and welcome the New Canaan community to their newly renovated store this fall. Go Rams. Platinum sponsor Renaissance Partners, a family-owned and New Canaan-based residential building and remodeling company serving all of Fairfield County. Platinum sponsor Walter Stewart's. Walter Stewart's Market has supported NC Rams athletics and your entire New Canaan community for years. Walter Stewart's is your fresh local market. We'd also like to thank our gold sponsor Performance Optimal Health, who proudly supports all New Canaan Rams athletes in their 2023-2024 seasons. Their team helps clients achieve their health goals through exercise, recovery, nutrition, and stress management. They offer their congratulations to all teams competing this season. Again, a big thank you to all of our sponsors. The NC Rams All Sports Booster Club supports all New Canaan High School athletics. Go Rams.
If you want to stay updated on all our Rams sports, please follow us on Instagram and Twitter at NCTV78. And in order to watch our bi-weekly broadcasts, live streams of the NCHS sports, and our podcast, subscribe to our YouTube channel, also at NCTV78. Thank you, and let's go Rams!
Welcome back here on NCTV 78 and DAF Media Network here for some field hockey action. Myself, John Frieders, Owen Heffron bringing you through all the action so far. Right now, it's 6-0 Darien. New Canaan gonna have to find an answer. Obviously, they just had that little halftime intermission. They have to find an answer to stop Kate Bach. They gotta stop Gromelski. They gotta figure out an answer to stop this Darien Blue Wave offense, the forwards, and they have to slow the game down, right, Owen? Like, Darien just controlled really every facet of this game so far.
Yeah, and Darien is moving as fast as they possibly can, just kind of getting right past that New Canaan defense with ease. And Darien kind of putting in some of the bench players in this one. But yeah, 6-0 is not where you want to be if you're the Rams. And just like you said, slowing it down, slowing the overall speed of Darien down, making sure you're not getting tired out, just making sure that you're covering the person you're supposed to be covering, as we saw, Gromelski and Bach kind of running free.
Yeah, it looked like Bach really got whatever she wanted. Obviously, one of the best players in the state, the Boston College commit, but she was just walking through that Rams defense. You just saw her time and time again kind of dribbling through, and then obviously had Gromelski, had her other options, had Liddell, just kind of at her expense, could do whatever she wanted. That's kind of been the difference so far. As New Canaan now, there's a little bit of a goalie switch on that Darien side as well. Instead of Tess Hagany in for them, they got Ella Trenick, and I also believe that this second half will be running clock as well, so no stoppages here.
I think Sarah Deskenza might be in there for the Rams as well.
Two goalie switches on both sides, probably. Darien, right, just want to get both goalies some reps in a game like this. Don't want one goalie sitting on the sidelines the entire time. Whereas on the other side, New Canaan just reeling for an answer to this Blue Wave offense. The forwards, midfield really, again, getting whatever they want as that ball goes off a stick, hits girl in the neck.
Don't replay it. She's hurt.
We'll see, I believe. Yeah, that is O'Connor. That's unfortunate if you're the Rams, right? One of your best player goes down.
Yeah, it's
after getting hit in the neck. We'll see
the
who
captain
subs in.
Yeah, the captain O'Connor never feels good at all, and that's just a very unfortunate series of events with Escajadillo there, just trying to get the stick on it. Ball carob straight up.
Be the freshman Ella Winery subbing in for O'Connor. We'll see if O'Connor returns to this game, but here's the Blue Wave, right? At this point, if you're the Blue Wave, you're just going to possess the ball, move the ball around. You're not really looking to score, as McDonough takes that one away, steals it from the Blue Wave. McDonough on that right side, looking for some help, trying to find someone in the middle. Ball goes off the foot, out of bounds.
You see Ella Cherenek in there, usual starter for the Blue Wave, but Tess Hagany did a great job today. Wasn't faced with a lot of challenge, but every time the ball came her way, she was able to turn that aside. So a great job from the backup goaltender.
Here's McDonough. McDonough feeding it inside towards the center, but great defense from the Blue Wave. That was Bogdan after the swing and the miss, but Bogdan really the anchor of this Blue Wave defense. You mentioned she started last year, then coming back as a senior, lots of experience anchoring this top tier Darien defense. Really doing a great job so far this year and in this game. Here is Kenny. Kenny ball taken away by Orr. Here's Orr moving up along the sidelines. And then stolen by a Winery. Here's McDonough. Look at the handles there. The handles by Liddell. And the drive attempt by the Blue Wave. Stolen by Passios. Here's Passios moving in. Side then. Ball stolen back by Escadillo.
Man, O'Kane doing a good job keeping it now in Darien's, defensive zone, and kind of the opposite of what we saw right before halftime, and they've looked good. Just keeping it there, not trying to force anything, which I think is very big. You see kind of working around and just trying to feed it inside without taking any crazy shots. Or
Yeah,
just kind of sending it into the circle without any looks beforehand.
Yeah, you see New Canaan, right, very patient, looking for an opportunity. Now you see the good ball movement. Ball now inside. Girl on the stick, the shot. Blocked by the Blue Wave, but right, you're right, Owen. New Canaan just kind of setting up their offense now, getting opportunity to move the ball around. They don't have to worry about getting back on defense. Now you see just 2 defenders back for the Rams, whereas before you saw 4 or 5 girls standing right around that 50-yard line.
Yeah, and that was a great look right there before that ball went out of bounds. Chernak kicks that one away.
Yeah, 6-0 here, Blue Wave on top, 10 minutes in this third quarter, but the Rams have come out in this third quarter, right, looked a little bit better. Obviously that second quarter was all Blue Wave, probably spending 14 of those minutes of the 15 in the offensive zone, just applying pressure. New Canaan in the pressure cooker. Here's Franchetti. Gets the ball, wins the foot race up to Bach. Bach all by herself. Bach dribbling. She shoots and scores. Kate Bach making it look easy today there. The stick handles in front of DeSenza and nets that one. Good shot by Bach, but again, right, the Blue Wave getting out in transition. Nothing you can do here on the replay. Bach just gets by her 2 defenders and takes it, the dribble, the shoot, and the score.
Yeah, that was absolutely beautiful. And Franchetti, good job from the sophomore, getting it up to her captain. Bach just doing the rest, winning the foot race, like you said, John, and just stick handling around the Rams. Able to finally feed it past the iron in the net.
Here is Lee trying to get a hold of that ball. Being dribbled around by Liddell. Liddell dribbling up, then gets it up. Back over to Bach. Here's Bach on that far side. Bach now in the sun, the glare. Here, the perfect day at Dunning, 75 degrees. Darien, the feed inside. Good save by DeSenza. And the second shot attempt by Orr just to the left, but what a shot. What a pass over to Orr. Shoots. Had an opportunity. Good glove save by DeSenza.
Yeah, that was a great shot from Orr and an even better stop by Sarah DeSenza. Just getting right in front, right off her chest, and then was able to just kick that one out of bounds.
New Canaan, what they got to do, right? They got to drive that ball up, clear it. That's the first step to getting into the offensive zone, and then settle things down. Here is McDonough. McDonough looking towards Lee. McDonough tries to get it to Lee, but just too much out of bounds. Possession flips, arrow. Now back in the Blue Waves' favor, but ball, they're stolen by Moore.
Good steal, gonna try to make something out of it now.
Couldn't do that though, as the Blue Wave defense swarmed. That ball back in the hands of the Blue Wave, now over. Here is Johnson fighting for the ball. Now Johnson with the dribbles. Ball fed up to McDonough. McDonough now touching it. Gonna take it herself. You saw Kenny looking for the ball. McDonough over to Lee. Then stolen away by Liddell. Here is Liddell. Liddell goes from her left to her right now. The drive up.
Good move.
To Johnson. Johnson now looking for her teammate. That was Johnson trying to find Franchetti. We saw Franchetti with the assist just a minute ago. Franchetti proving herself as an option for this Blue Wave offense.
Yeah, Franchetti scored a goal in that 2-0 win against a strong Ludlow team as well.
See here, good handles by Moore. Moore trying to feed it out towards the center of the field, but just stolen away again. Here is Kenny. Kenny steals it back. Kenny with the feed in front, trying to find a rim defender. The shot Another opportunity, the shot, and the score. The third attempt finally makes it to the back of the net. That's Cameron Lee. The junior for the Rams. Lee took the Rams a couple attempts here. You see the ball just bounce around like a pinball. Lee in front, the kick save, and another shot. Kind of followed up on it, right?
Great shot from the Rams, just doing exactly what we've been talking about, John, is taking their time, making the smart decisions, not trying to force anything even though you're down big. And they found pay dirt for the first time this game, and that was a perfectly executed field hockey play, and great job by the junior Lee being able to finish on that.
Yeah, so now the Rams, right, you get one. Now you gotta stay in the offensive zone. You gotta get a couple more. Obviously now you're down by 6. 5:55 remaining in this third quarter, but now you have a little bit of momentum. You got that little bit of spark. You erase the 0 off the scoreboard, which although it's only 1 goal, right, erasing that 0 can be so big in games like these.
Well, there's just been 3 other teams this season in the FCAC to avoid a shutout from the Blue Wave, and that was Greenwich, even though they fell 5-2, and then Ridgefield as they fell 6-1, and then Staples, of course, beat Darien, the only team to do that, 5-2. But a good job getting through this Darien defense. Not easy to do. Got to give the Rams their credit.
Yeah, 10 shutouts for the Blue Wave on the season. That's a ridiculous stat by any team in 14 games. Well, obviously now 14 games, but 10 shutouts on the season for the Blue Wave. The defense doing a great job of protecting that net. Ball now back up to Welch. Here's Welch driving up along that right sideline. Welch going to take it herself, look for her teammate in front. The shot wide to the left.
So missed opportunity there for the Blue Wave. Kind of had the Rams out of position. Maybe a chance to get number 8. Take another look here. Got up to Johnson, and she just fired it. Maybe a good job from Deskenza, cutting off the angle a little bit. Johnson felt she had to go more to the left than she actually did.
Here is Kenny going to take it out by herself. A ball stolen by Delbane. Here is Orr protecting that ball. Orr weaves through a couple New Canaan defenders, finds Johnson in front.
Yeah, that one looked like it went off the foot of a New Canaan defender, so now we'll have a penalty corner. And another chance for the Blue Wave to just add more.
Yeah, but we've seen some good defense on these penalty corners by this Rams team, obviously. That first attempt, great job by the Rams to avoid any danger. Now an opportunity for the Blue Wave to tack on one more if they can.
He'll be Elsa Del Bene on the insert. Again, seeing some Darien players don't see too much time usually.
There's strong defense by Coda. Ball now back in the possession of the Rams. And see the Rams here now. 2 defensive stops on penalties for the Blue Wave.
Yeah, that's not easy at all against this Darien team. So give a lot of credit to the New Canaan defense and the goalies on those.
Here is Passios along that near side. Gonna work it up and through. Now we just saw the penalty on the Rams, now to be the penalty on the Blue Wave. The Rams opportunity here to tack on another. How big is getting another, maybe even 2 before the end of this third quarter, Owen?
Yeah, especially before that in the third quarter, you know, down by a lot and just cutting that lead down, just chipping away so massive, even just for, you know, internal kind of progress and, you know, the momentum, even if the score isn't in your favor. It's about kind of the most recent events that happen in the game. And New Canaan just having that feeling that they can push past this Blue Wave defense and they can be successful in this one.
There is Healy over to Passios. Then back over to the far side, but there's a violation. Ball now in the hands of the Blue Wave.
Yeah, Passios just misplayed it, hit off her foot. That can't be allowed in the insert on the penalty corner, and the Blue Wave get credited with the stop for that.
See Bogdan taking the ball herself, as she usually does, feeding it all the way up. past that 50-yard line. Now the Blue Wave in striking distance. Here's Johnson up along that left side, looking for the pass inside. DeSenza stick out. We'll see what is called, but DeSenza pretty far out of the box there, sprawled out on the floor.
She got way out there, just kind of bodied herself up against Juliana Franchetti off the pass from Sydney Johnson, and forcing Darien is able to force a penalty here as we're kind of going back and forth playing hot potato with the penalty corners. It's Elsa Del Bene again.
Yeah, both teams not finding success either on these penalty corners. That ball moved up to Bogdan. Bogdan over to Orr. Now feeding it inside to her teammate. The shot, big kick save by DeSenza.
Get another one coming now. But yeah, great save from Sarah Deskenzoff. I believe the shot from Ava Welch, looking for her second of the day. The sophomore and also basketball player.
See the replay here on the penalty during action. That ball goes out to the right, but here on the replay, see, great job by that Rams defense. Another unsuccessful penalty corner by the Blue Wave offense. You know, is that concerning? Obviously, you have some substitutes in there right now, but is that concerning if you're not seeing success on the penalties corners in a game like this, Owen?
I wouldn't say it's too concerning. I think that maybe with a kind of lead like this, especially if you're not a starter like some of these Darien players out in the field aren't right now, maybe they're not trying their hardest, but I think on those last two, they've had some good opportunities and just kind of better play from the New Canaan defense, especially with the Ava Welch shot and the Sarah Descenza save.
And that will do it here for the third quarter. One more 15-minute period will decide this one. The Blue Wave in good position to walk away with their 14th victory on the season, up 7-1. Man, it's been all the Blue Wave today, Owen. Obviously, we came into this game expecting probably a little bit of a closer game with that New Canaan-Darien rivalry. Darien just a little bit better than the Rams, and the Rams maybe a bit mismatched, right? Undermatched here in a game like this. Obviously, the Blue Wave top 3 team in the state coming in here, and the Rams outside that top 10, but maybe a little bit too much for the Rams to handle.
Yeah, we definitely thought this one was going to be closer. I think a lot of people did. I mean, Darien, 7 goals last time. I mean, last time they scored 6 was back in 2018 when they won 6-0 against New Canaan. And yeah, definitely when we talk about the rivalries and we talked about how, you know, on paper kind of goes out the window, but it's really been a show of, you know, Mo Minikis and her Blue Wave team, you know, their head coach in her 25th season at the helm, you know, showing her experience. I think Darien kind of showing their experience and their skill kind of all over their arch rival in this one so far, in terms of just being fast, maybe kind of tiring out the Rams, not being able to keep up with the Blue Waves style of play so far in this game.
Yeah, and we'll be back here on NCTV and DAF Media Network in just a few moments for that start of the fourth quarter, the final quarter of this New Canaan-Darien matchup. Welcome back here on NCTV and DAF Media Network here. The final quarter of this New Canaan Darien matchup, which was, we haven't mentioned this, but it was supposed to be played earlier in the season, got moved back to this later date. The Blue Wave on top 7-1, just complete dominance from this Blue Wave team. Ball now back in the hands of the Blue Wave. Myself, John Frieders, joined alongside Owen Heffron. Thank you for being with us, obviously tuning into this big-time matchup between the Rams and the Blue Wave.
Yeah, you talked about this game supposed to be played over a month ago on September 16th. And this might be an entirely different Darien team, an entirely different New Canaan team, since that date they've both played the #1 team in the nation, Staples, and then both taken losses to the team. And I think Staples is a team that teaches a lot of these other field hockey squads in the FCAC a lot about themselves and a lot about the competition that you're going to see. And I think both of these teams have built very well for the better after playing the Wreckers, and I think it's showing in this game. I've seen a lot of good promise from the Rams.
There's the big kick save by Chernak. And the Rams trying to get that ball on net. Once again, an opportunity. Just could not find the back of the net. Seems like that's been the pattern today, right? Opportunities just not finding the back of the net on second chances, third chances. Rams only having 1 goal to show for all their hard work today.
What a play by Chernak, though, getting out there and just never giving up, just kind of just flopping around on the ground, trying to get in front of that ball any way she can. And it's a great job by the Rams to get in there and get around on the initial effort, but just unfortunately unable to capitalize, and just a great play by the junior goalkeeper for the Wave.
Here's Welch carrying it up along that right sideline. Welch now has that ball pickpocketed, but ball goes back to Welch, violation. Welch over to Liddell. Here New Canaan retaining possession, ball stolen back by the Blue Wave. That was Duarte. See a penalty corner here for the Blue Wave. Obviously, Owen, we've seen a bunch of these on both sides, but no one's been able to find the back of the net here on the penalty corners. Both defenses doing a good job of stopping the offensive opportunities of the other.
Yeah, and against some of the higher teams of the FCAC, Darien is kind of, it's usually Shannon Bach on the inserts for Darien. They haven't been as successful on the penalty corners. They have been kind of just driving up the field and, getting it around, passing it around, rather than kind of just inserting in the whole offense crashing.
And again, New Canaan doing a great job clearing that one out. Avoids any injury, avoids any goal opportunity for the Blue Wave. There was Orr carrying it in. Now a violation. She's going to get a couple feet of space. Orr stick handling it over. Then ball stolen. Ball picked up by Duarte. Duarte over to Kellogg. And ball now stolen back by Kenny. Kenny moving up along the left sidelines, but great defense by Savino. Here is Orr carrying it through a couple white jerseys. Then ball picked up by the Blue Wave, by her own teammate. Now ball in front of the net, dangerous situation. Here you see that's Franchetti on the ground on her knees, but definitely an opportunity for the Blue Wave. Just couldn't find the back. Then I couldn't get a shot on net. Great defense by the Rams.
Talking about the implications for this game is the top 8 teams of the FCAC qualified for the playoffs, and New Canaan is sitting at that 9 spot just behind Trumbull, who Darien plays tomorrow. So New Canaan might actually have to be rooting for Darien tomorrow for their hopes of getting into the FCACs, which you don't hear very often. And Trumbull and New Canaan played for the first game of the year back on September 3rd, and Trumbull beat the Rams just in a 1-0 defensive match.
Yeah, we'll see, right? Obviously, this game was quite important for the Rams. They had to win this to really solidify their chances of making it into the FCAC tournament. I believe they are qualified for states, though, right now, so they'll definitely have an opportunity. And I don't know if you know this, right, but they're the only FCAC team in Class M, so they're kind of by themselves. They have an opportunity to make their way along in the state playoffs. If they play well, obviously you get kind of that, if you don't make FCX, you get that week of preparation, that extra week, which can be used to your advantage. I know normally our baseball team in New Canaan, right, they get that week off and then they kind of get back, regroup. They did this, I believe, 2 years ago where they got that week off, then they went up to play a big Fairfield prep team and took them down. So definitely can be good, but also does obviously suck, unfortunately, because then you're not in the FCAC tournament. Here's the Blue Wave driving it in.
Yeah, and I think, you know, while the week off is nice, I think that, you know, those practice, if you do qualify for FCX, and, you know, you're playing some of the teams that you might even face off against in states. I mean, it happened last season with Darien. I mean, they played Staples in both the FCAC championship and the state championship, beat Staples in the FCAC championship, and then Staples, they studied, they got better over some time after playing them, and was able to knock out the Blue Wave in the state finals.
And you talk about it, right? It's always hard to beat a good team once, but to beat them twice, 3 times is just that much harder. There's the ball in front, close to the net. Looked like DeSenza poked it away just in time. Another shot. Ball just lingering. If you're the Rams defense, you got to get that ball out.
Scott Dia was really close on that.
Definitely a dangerous opportunity for the Rams, but a good opportunity, offensive opportunity for the Blue Wave. And the Blue Wave really haven't been able to find any offense after making those substitutions. Ball just being moved around. That was Franchetti moving it around. The shot on net goes off a Rams stick. Back over to the Blue Wave.
Good job, Skenza getting in front of that. Believe kind of booted that one high and away. But yeah, New Canaan looks shut down on the penalty corner so far in this one, which is definitely a good sign. Something good to take away.
Yeah, and if you're a Rams fan, right, that was O'Connor that just touched the ball. Obviously, she was subbed out earlier in this game after she got hit in the neck with the ball. So good to see her back out there, one of the Rams' better players. Here's O'Connor now taking it herself. She's got a teammate to her left, right, decides to pull back and find someone over the middle. There is Passios. Passios now trying to drive it up for the Rams, but great defense again by the Blue Wave. Here is Kara. Kara scanning the field up in net. Shot wide to the left, but you saw Passios kind of look to the left, right, scan the field, look for someone in front, but couldn't find anyone here. We're going to get a replay on that powerful shot by Passios. You saw the shot just too far to the left.
Yeah, not even a big lot of windup on that one. Just pure strength. Just kind of yanked it just a little bit to the left. Looking for a teammate out in the circle, or maybe hopefully a lucky deflection, find the back of the goal.
Yeah,
Great
it's
job
like,
from Kara Passios there.
It's like pulling a ball foul in baseball, right, where you just pull it a little bit too much. Obviously, you're trying to shoot for that left corner like you're trying to shoot a ground ball down the line. Instead, just pulls it a little bit too much. Here is the battle along that far sideline. That was rare. Trying to maintain possession, but she could not. The ball driven forward by the Blue Wave. Good stick work there by Fagan, I believe. Then the shot just wide to the right. Maybe an inch or two to the right. Man, that was a close shot.
Janavi Orr just barely missed the senior. Got it around to Skenza, but yeah, just wide right. Maybe, like you said, just a couple inches off of that post.
Here are the Rams. Could not get that ball past the two Blue Wave defenders here. Just smothering defense by the Blue Wave in the offensive zone. That was Orr.
And it's really just all about, if you watch this Darien, the defense is like they see the ball and they just go get the ball. Whoever has the ball, they'll always have a defender going right at the person trying to jar it loose, which has helped them, especially in the beginning of the game, just have possession for so long and completely get rid of any opportunity that New Canaan had pushing up the field and getting close to that 30-yard line.
Good opportunity. The ball goes through Passios' stick. Now the Blue Wave back with the offensive momentum, now flipping the other way. Here are the Rams moving the ball up the field. So Lee along that right side tries to feed it to McDonough. She does get it to McDonough, but mishandled. Then the diving in front. You saw Cherenek laid out. Now an opportunity, but here we'll look at that one.
Yeah, Ella
What a play.
Cherenek laying out. It was from Lee to McDonough right in the circle. Fagan trying to fight for it. So was Savino. And McDonough right there. Cherenek just trying to save it, but caught the legs of the senior with her stick, and McDonough's stick went flying. You can't do that. That's going to result in a penalty every time.
See, neither team's been good on the penalty, though, so far. Now the Rams with the penalty advantage. Ball being worked around. Ball now in front, but kicked out by that Blue Wave defense. Now going to go all the way down to touch the stick of Johnson. Ball taken.
Good job there from Ella Cherenek. Something that she's done all season is not be afraid to come out and just kick it away. It doesn't have to use the blocker too much. She does it again right here.
You see Cherenek just out there, not scared, working for position, kind of moving her defenders as well as the Rams players to her left and right, kind of getting out there, being vocal and being aggressive as well. Resulting in the turnover. Here's the Blue Wave up along, trying to get that ball up to Orr, just could not do it. It's Herring touching it. Ball back in possession of the Blue Wave. Be Del Bene now towards the middle of the field. That's Welch touching it. Welch gonna feed it up off the stick of Lee. The Blue Wave attack, feeding it towards the center of the field. It looked like Rams defender dropped a stick that should be a violation, gonna result in a penalty.
So maybe this is where we see Darien try to change something up on a penalty corner, kind of cash in.
Here is Del Bene. Again, neither team cashing in on the penalty yet. Maybe a little bit surprising, right? Got to think with all these opportunities, someone would net a net, but for neither teams, no one's been able to find the back of the net. As Blue Wave now with the advantage. Good defense by the Rams, though. The shot. Good save by DeSenza in front. Ball squirting around. That was Johnson, nearest Blue Wave defender, or offensive player to the ball. My apologies. Then it was Duarte down low as well.
Yeah, they'll do it again now. Some hard stick-to-stick contact. Johnson and Dewart in the area.
Darien back on the advantage. They've had a couple of these, the second consecutive one in a row. Good defense up front by Civarelli. It's just Duarte dribbling around the shot towards the front of the net. Goes wide right. Again, a good stop by New Canaan's defense.
Great
when
job.
it matters.
Great job from Madison Civarelli getting out there, throwing the stick in the way, kind of throwing a wrench in the hole. Plan for Darien.
Shot there by the Blue Wave. That was Welch on the shot, looking for his second goal on the day. Ball back in the hands, I should say in the sticks of the Rams. Ball just going to be moved around. Clock here winding down. Now just 25 seconds remain. Blue Wave looks like they will come out on top. Move to 14-1. The Rams falling to 6-9-1. Now they got to pray for a miracle to make it into that FCAC tournament. Here's Darien, one last drive. Stop there. Good defense, though, by the Rams. That will do it for the rematch. The Rams and the Blue Wave here. Obviously, pretty one-sided. Darien's going to come out on top 7-1. Move to 14-1 on the season. New Canaan now moving to 6-9-1. And what did you like from that Blue Wave offense? Obviously, they got a game tomorrow, but then it's all postseason. Then you're playing for when it actually counts. What did you like from the Blue Wave offense today? The defense kind of both simultaneously working together. Obviously, the defense leading to offensive opportunities as well.
Yeah, I thought that the two forwards, I thought Adriana Gromelski and Kate Bach looked amazing today. I know Gromelski had a handful of goals, around 3 or 4, Bach as well. And I think the sophomore and the senior, even though they kind of have different lacks of experience, the skill is still all around. And, you know, defense was creating that offense too with Bogdan and the Liddells kind of back there being able to jar the ball loose, finding those open Blue Wave players. And they used 2 goalies. I think both of them looked great. They started off with Tess Hagney and then went to Ella Cherenek. I think they made the stops that they were supposed to. And all around, just it showed why Darien is so highly recognized, you know, nationally and in this FCI conference.
Yeah, and then on the other side, obviously you talk about how well the Blue Wave played. Definitely a lot to go look back on, try to make those improvements in practice, and then hopefully kind of advance in states, play a couple of games. Obviously the first game usually an easier game, but obviously the Rams will probably be on the lower side of the seeding, so they'll have to play a better team. How do you move away from this game? Obviously you played Darien, so you acknowledge that you played one of the top teams in the state, but how do you move along, kind of get better every day, get better day by day, and move forward?
Yeah, I think this is a great opportunity to learn. What I liked at the very end of that game from New Canaan is they just kind of slowed everything down, and they, you know, didn't make any rash decisions, just finding the open players. And they had some real opportunities there at the end with just, you know, some tough traffic right at the very end of the circle.
Well, that will do it here. Before we go, I'd like to give a couple of thanks. Obviously, we'd like to thank all of you guys for tuning in. I'd also like to thank our DAF Media Advisor, Damian Andrews, NCTV's advisor, Roman Cebulski. The producer of this game was Charlie Place. On graphics was Bracelin. Technical director, Catherine Evans. On camera, we had a couple cameras today. PJ Neville, Charlie O'Neill, Jack Breyer. And then on replay, we got a lot of good replays today. That was by Bianca Formoso. I think, Owen, that will do it here. Again, the Blue Wave moving up to 14-1, and now New Canaan falling to 6-9-1. Thank you, guys, and that will do it here. New Canaan, Darien, another story in the book. And myself, John Frieders, Owen Heffron, signing off now. Move to sponsors.
This game is sponsored by our NC Rams All Sports Booster Club Platinum and Gold sponsors. We would like to thank our Platinum sponsor, Anderson Kenny Architecture, a full-service practice that encompasses a range of commission, residential, and commercial projects. Each project is a thoughtful collaboration tailored for clients and their needs. The outcome is highly personal, constructed with intention and integrity. We would like to thank our Platinum sponsor, Dr. William Fessler of Fessler Family Dentistry, the dental office for your entire family's dental needs. At William Fessler Family Dentistry, smile, you're in good hands. Platinum sponsor Frangione Engineering. Planning on putting a pool or addition onto your house? Are you having drainage issues on your property? Frangione Engineering can help you find a solution. Platinum sponsors and NCHS alumni Leo and Steve Carl of Carl Chevrolet have been proud supporters of local athletic programs for generations. Their dealership has been serving Fairfield County since 1927. Their team is ready to assist you with all of your automotive needs. Platinum sponsor Manfredi Jewels. Manfredi Jewels, your local official Rolex jeweler, is excited to continue carrying the finest jewelry and watch brands and welcome the New Canaan community to their newly renovated store this fall. Go Rams. Platinum sponsor Renaissance Partners, a family-owned and New Canaan-based residential building and remodeling company serving all of Fairfield County. Platinum sponsor Walter Stewart's. Walter Stewart's market has supported NC Rams athletics and your entire New Canaan community for years. Walter Stewart's is your fresh local market. We'd also like to thank our gold sponsor Performance Optimal Health, who proudly supports all New Canaan Rams athletes in their 2023-2024 seasons. Their team helps clients achieve their health goals through exercise, recovery, nutrition, and stress management. They offer their congratulations to all teams competing this season. Again, a big thank you to all of our sponsors. The NC Rams All Sports Booster Club supports all New Canaan High School athletics. Go Rams.
If you want to stay updated on all our Rams sports, please follow us on Instagram and Twitter at NCTV78. And in order to watch our bi-weekly broadcasts, live streams of the NCHS sports, and our podcast, subscribe to our YouTube channel also at NCTV78. Thank you, and let's go Rams!